While I think a lot of people expected the top three, which what we got
Yes.
with Shericka,
Hmm.
Gabby, and Sha'Carri. Shericka proved she was the favorite for a reason and destroyed Gabby and Sha'Carri. But were you expecting to see 21-41? Let me say that again.
Yes.
21-41. She is only
Yes.
0.02 away from running a 21-3. That's
Yeah.
nuts. Olivia, wrap our head around that. What did we just see?
We just saw the number 2 all-time performance in history. Shericka Jackson from the start, as we could expect from the talented Jamaican, got out aggressively, attacked the turn, and literally it was just her against the clock coming off of that 100 meters. Home stretch, she was just powering through. No one was able to respond, Gordon. No one. It was just like, there goes Shericka Jackson. Races now for second and third. Who else is going to medal with her? And of course, we predicted Gabby Thomas and Sha'Carri Richardson being in that top 3 along with Jackson. It was just kind of the order. I was just so impressed. 21:41, just 0.07 off of a world record. And I don't know about you, but if I was Shericka Jackson, I would be celebrating, but she almost looked upset. Do you think maybe it was because like that world record, you're just that close and you're like,
I,
goodness gracious, what can I have done? Because there was no celebration. She just kind of looked at the clock and was like, okay,
I don't
okay.
I don't think she was upset. I think she was just tired.
That could have been it too.
I mean, remember when Sydney was on the track after running 50 seconds in the 400 hurdles? She just sat there, put her hands on her
I would
knees,
have
and was
been
just
laid
like
out
kind of
though.
chilling.
400 hurdles. That's a
Yeah, but I
fall.
think
That's
Sydney didn't
tough.
really celebrate her world record because she was tired. She just literally ran something that hasn't been done before. And while we have seen a time a little bit faster than this done before, we haven't seen something this fast done before in a while. And so for
Mhm.
Sharika, I think it was more just my body just did something it's never done before, and I need to chill out right now. I need to catch my breath. I don't even have the energy to smile. All of her smile energy was put into that 21:41. So she had to kind
Mhm.
of refuel. She had to kind of get into the sunlight, get some solar powers of energy to get that smile and that reaction of, oh my goodness, I just ran an incredible time. I'm in my prime. And you look at that wind, it was not a heavy tailwind. It
Mhm.
was no wind. You give her some extra little bit of wind, give her a 1.9 to 1.7 wind, maybe even a little bit of altitude. That world record, 1000% is within reach. It's not just a
Yeah.
like, ooh, you need the perfect day. She ran 21:41 after running 100-meter rounds, 200-meter rounds. She could put something special together if the planets align.
Yeah. I think she had perfect conditions though. Because if you think about when it comes to the 200, right? Like if we're talking about negative wind, that means that first half of that race, she's running into a headwind. It's the clock and the wind gauge is looking at the last 100. So, I don't know if she would want probably a negative wind. I think this was like ultimate perfect conditions of like having nothing. Like we saw the pure raw talent of Shericka Jackson running 21-4. Insane.
Yeah. I think we weren't expecting 21-4. And I think because we weren't expecting 21-4, we thought Gabby had a shot. But as soon as, like you said, when you're watching that opening 80 meters, you're like, oh, she's on all time quick pace. As good as Gabby is not ready to run in that territory. So the race was pretty much over in the first 60 to 80 meters. And then it was kind of like Gabby versus Sha'Carri run for second. There was a moment when I looked like Gabby was falling apart a bit, and maybe
It
Sha'Carri was going to
did.
be able to get her in the final 20, 30 meters. But Gabby was able to just kind of keep her form, hold on, and kind of look like a struggle through the line to hold off Sha'Carri on the outside. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, Shericka 21-4. How old is she? What? Gotta think. What's her age?
I think we're close in age, so maybe
Born in
29.
94.
Yeah,
So
29.
she's
Yeah.
29, just
Mhm.
turned 29. She'll be turning 30 at the Olympics. That's these next 2 years are her final years of being in this type of shape. Yes, we see
Mhm.
what Shelly-Ann has been able to do with her incredible mid 30s year that she had last year and the year before, but to run world record type times, you need to be in your prime, and she's in her final maybe 2 years of prime. You could argue maybe this was her best chance looking back at it, but I still think she stays healthy. She's going to go into 2024 with that confidence, smelling the world record, and she might put it together in the coming year.
Do you think if you're Shericka Jackson right now, you try to find one more race, like right
I
now
just
within the last month, just knowing that you're less than a tenth of a second off a breaking world record? And again, I don't even know if that was like a vision for her, like, hey, this is what we're striving for. But now that you're that close, do you try one more
one.
time, or do you just take the time to, rest and get training for Paris next year?
I don't think she tries to go to the well. I think she tries to continue running well and maybe win a Diamond League or two. Try to win the 1 and the 2 in the Diamond League. Maybe try to beat Sha'Carri in the 100 to try to have at least one win over her. But in the sprinters don't really go for world records in a weird way. No one's ever like
Because I think
tune in for this sprint event world record attempt. Like that happens in the distance races because there's pacing, there's lights, there's setup with like temperature conditions with Kipchoge and the marathon. That's like a distance thing. Whereas for the sprinters, world records just come in. There's the ultimate pressure, which is a championship final. So I think
Mhm.
we're really going to only see her go have a world record attempt in a 200-meter final at Paris, in a 200-meter final in 2025 in Tokyo. I don't think Prefontaine 200 is going to really she's going to go to the well. Like the only time you really have to go to the well is when there's a medal on the line. No one really goes to the well when there's no medals on the line.
I guess, but I think we haven't had world record talks because we didn't really think anyone would break them. Like Usain Bolt, once he ran that, I don't think anyone ever thought anybody would come remotely close to running the times that he was running. Flojo. No one thought anybody would be close. But now that we're seeing it, Shericka Jackson kind of tapping into that wheelhouse, and then Noah Lyles kind of putting it out there and running what he did at World Championships last year in that 200. All of a sudden now the brain starts to spin and you're like, wait, is it actually possible now? Like this isn't so far-fetched. I feel like within the recent years that now the conversations of world records are happening.
Yeah, but I just don't think she's going to do it in any other meet except for a global final. I just I also don't think Shericka is really motivated right now for the world record. I think she's motivated to get another medal. I think she's motivated to win an Olympic medal, win an Olympic gold. Because
Mm-hmm.
you look at the past 3 global championships, 2021, it was all Elaine Thompson-Herah.
Mm-hmm.
2022, while Shericka ran well, you were still Shelly-Ann was looked at as the top sprinter because of her regular season and ultimately winning the 100-meter dash. When you look at
Mm-hmm.
2023, you look at the 2 people won gold, Shericka and Sha'Carri. If you're going to have to rank them, while Shericka has this incredible time, Sha'Carri's going to have, hey, I've beaten Shericka multiple times in the 100, and I won the more marquee sprint event, the 100. So I think in a way, Shericka, I think this was kind of the constellation prize for her. She really wanted that 100 because winning the 100 on the women's side is what marks you as the fastest woman in the world. And
Mm-hmm.
while Sha'Carri, in a way, just gets to have that title until 2024, even though Shericka ran 21:41. I think the only way Shericka would have been looked at as a faster woman this year over Sha'Carri is if she actually broke the world record. Because there's just a bias towards the 100 meters. And if there's a bias towards
Mm-hmm.
100 meters, you look at Sha'Carri having multiple head-to-head against Shericka and the gold, you're going to just naturally say, hey, That's cool. You have the 200. That's why Noah Lyles was so big about getting good in the 100, because Noah Lyles could dominate the 200, but everyone's going to pay attention to Marcel Jacobs. They're all going to pay attention to Fred Curley. And Noah Lyles is like, all right, no matter what I do in the 200, it means nothing unless I can do it in the 100. So I think that itch for Shericka still hasn't been scratched despite running the second fastest 200 of all time.
Yeah. I have to agree because it's like that statement being the fastest woman, men alive, right? You look to the 100. However,
Yeah.
I kind of going back to world record talk a little bit with Shericka Jackson. I agree with you. I think the thought process was getting my medals. Let me rack up my medals, right? But it's kind of like what you discussed earlier in the week on the podcast. It's like, okay, you have medals now. Now we got to strive for that time. And I think now the way Shericka Jackson may approach going forward is like, yes, I'm going to probably that 100 is going to be something she's going to be really focused on. She wants a title. I want to be the fastest woman on the planet. 200 meters, she's completely dominating that. But this time now, I want it for another reason. I want to strive for a world record now. And again, I think she wasn't maybe motivated, these world championships. Again, it's just earning the medals. But I think pretty soon her brain might start switching a little bit and being like, okay, just went 21:41, great conditions. It's time to elevate now. What more can I pull from this 200? I already have the titles. Now it's just time to get that time. It's
And
like stepping
Shericka,
stones, Gordon.
speaking of medals, now she only has 2 global gold individuals. So take
Mhm.
out relay stuff, because relays I just don't count as your individual medal count. She already has 8 global medals individually. She has
Yeah.
6 at the world championship level and 2 at the Olympics. So you could argue she should get double medals next year and double medals again. So by the time she's 31, she could have 12 individual medals. That, in the all-time world, that puts you in like a top 10 tier all time. 12? Because
Yeah.
remember, she got in the Olympics 2016, she was bronze in the 400. In the
Yeah.
2015 World Championship, she was bronze in the 400. So the more and more she adds to that medal total. Now, I get it. She's going to want more of those colors of those medals to be gold than silver or bronze. So she's going to hopefully, but it's going to be hard because Sha'Carri's going to be in her way. Shelly Ann's going to be in her way, faster. Gabby's going to be in her way, but her trajectory is looking good in the all-time ranks. Don't think it's going to be enough for her to pass Shelly Ann. I think the only way she would pass Shelly Ann if she went 4 for 4. Like if she won double gold 2024, double gold 2025, then you'd be like, all right, maybe we need to pass the torch to Shericka. But right now, Shelly Ann still has that torch.